Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be learning how to make this trendy V-neck line bubu. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly keep watching and let's get right into the video. So the first thing we have to do is roll out our base line. Then from the base line, we would mark our standard neckline for the back, which is 3 by 1. So my ankara is on fold. So I have my front and my back here folded together, and then I would also get the length of where I want my V-neck to stop. So that part on the front, the length where I want it to stop. So I'll be placing my tape from my collarbone to where I want the plain fabric to stop. I had 18 inches, so 18 inches plus my standard front neckline, which is 3 by 3, is what I marked there. Then from that point, which is 21 inches, which I marked, please let's go over to like the shoulder. I will come down by 1.5 inch. Then I'm going to roll out my slant line, and from then my sleeve opening I'll be marking 10 inches. You can use 9 inches. Then from there it's coming by 1 inch. Then also connect it this way. The fullness of your bubble depends on you, so we'll be using the largest part of our body. I'll be using my hip, then I'll be adding 2 extra inches to mine, then I'm connecting those lines this way. Then I'll do a little curve around the arm area. So I'm going to take my hip divided by 4 all the way down to my dress length. So my hip divided by 4, then plus the 2 inches extra for your ease is what I'm taking all the way down. Now I'll be marking my length this way, and then we'll be reconnecting. Now connect your markings into a straight line. So we're cutting out our fabric pattern. So I'll be cutting out my 3 by 1 neckline, then towards my shoulder I'll be adding ½ inch upward. Then I will cut along my sleeve opening down to the side, then to the right. So I am trying to cut the pattern equally first, so that I can then separate the front fabric from the back fabric, so that we can work on our neckline. Now that we're done with that, I'm separating or taking out the back and pattern from the front, so we can work on the depth of the front neckline. Once you're done arranging your pattern or your fabric perfectly, make sure the sides align, and you can input where you want the fabric to stop. So mine was 21 inches. From there you go in by 1 inch, and you get your ruler and connect from that point to your neck line or your neck width opening in a V-neck like pattern, and then you will go ahead and cut out your pattern. So watch closely how I am cutting out the neckline. I'll set that aside, and then I will bring the plain pattern to work on it. So for this I'll be using 2 inches width. So you need to take your neck opening for the Ankara, the round width. You would see that in the next video, but for now I'm cutting out my plain fabric 2 inches in width, and I'll be rolling that across 2 inches. I have gone ahead to infuse my paper stay on the plain fabric. So I have 2 different colored or fabric. I'm using Mikado fabric though. So once I'm done with this particular fabric, I will place it on the red to cut out the exact bits I also need. Bring in the red, your other color fabric. So this kind of bubu is always final when you use 2 different fabric, so that the neckline is more prominent or shows properly. So I'll be cutting the exact width. So once you're done with this, then you can move ahead to your sewing machine, and then we can start joining our fabrics together. So let's concentrate on our neckline. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be getting our fabric this way. So I'll get the midpoint of my back neckline, then I'm going to measure the neck opening from that point that we went down by to the back neckline. Of measuring it so my fabrics don't fold. So now that I've gotten my neck width, I'll be sewing down from after 13 inches. So I'll be placing my fabric together this way, so the blue is on top of the red. So after I'll measure 14 inches for my neck opening, then I'll be sewing down the rest this way. I have a video on this that I'll be linking in my description box. But now that I'm gotten my neck opening, I will be folding my fabric into this way. Just watch what I'm doing. Turn my fabric to the right side, and this is what we have. I'm just checking to see that my neck or my head can fit into the opening of 14 inches, and from that point we joined, I will be sewing my fabric. So now I'll be securing my fabric this way so that it's easier for me to run through the neckline opening. So I'll be securing them down this way. It works best and it's easier for you to then use around your neckline area. Once you're done securing your neck piece, then from this opening come down by 1 inch. Remember, at 21 inches you need to come down by 1 inch extra. Then you create a notch like this. Create a notch to meet the 1 inch you measured downward. Then from there you get your extra piece of fabric. You get the midpoint of your Ankara fabric, and then the midpoint, so you get the midpoint of your Ankara dress, and then the midpoint of your contrasting fabric. Then you pin them together, so you match them up, then you pin them down so it's easier to work with. Now that I've gotten like my midpoint for both pieces, it's time for us to sew it round the fabric neckline. So now I'm sewing from one end, so from this midpoint to an end. So the tip for this particular lapel, and let's call it a lapel, is that you need to make your lapel a bit longer than the opening. So let's say after measuring your neckline you got 21 inches. So instead of you cutting 21 inches as your fabric for the contrasting fabric, cut at least 24 inches so that you have like excess. So you get to understand when we get to the end of the notched part. So you sew down your fabric carefully till you get to the notched points around the neckline. So you take your time, make sure you are lining the fabric, so you sew down till you get to the end of the notched points. So for a clearer view, which is why I move my camera this way, so look at that notched part. I'll consider that notched part. Once I get there, I would backstitch. As you can see, my extra fabric is longer than the Ankara fabric. There's a reason for that, and you get to find out once we are done. So make your fabric longer than your notched points. Make the fabric longer than the notched points. So now that we're done with the first side, we would go over to the other side, and then we will also be sewing the other side. So for you to have a more relaxed fit in front, you need to notch to the point where you sewed. So now we're going over to the other side, and then we'll sew our neck piece till we get to the end of the other side, so the notched part of this other side. So to get to the end of the other side, you also need to backstitch around the notch point. You need to backstitch properly. So once you get to the end, make sure you backstitch to secure that point, and also make sure that you notch to get to the point you notched, or to the point you backstitched. So I'm turning to the right side for us to see what it looks like. So I'm trying to just make sure that the whole point is relaxed. Remember I said notch to the point you backstitched. So this is the right side. You can see how relaxed it is there. So I'll take the excess fabric at the back here. So this is why I told us to make sure that our fabric is longer, that the contrasting fabric is longer than the neck opening. So we'll take this little excess fabric, and we'll be securing down with our plain fabric. Please, if you don't understand, please, you can take the video back to where you don't understand, and then you continue. So we'll be backstitching. Make sure you backstitch, and then once I'm done, I'll show you what it looks like in front. So this is what it looks like in front. Very relaxed, no gapes. So if you get your notch properly, you would also have same results. So this is what it looks like once I was done So the next thing you have to just do is close up your side, attach your pockets, and then end it down. So yeah, and this is what my dress looks like, my bubu looks like afterwards. So I matched the colors by the sleeves. So yeah, this brings us to the end of this tutorial. If you find this tutorial really helpful, please subscribe to my channel, like, share my videos. See you in the next one. Bye guys.